right, y'all. So welcome back to another episode of Dirt, Grit, and Stupid Shit, the adventures of real estate. And, today I got a new one on the podcast here, and his name is Ron Daley. Is that how you say that, Ron?
Yes, it is.
Well, look, I'm glad I got that right because nobody gets my name right. Just wanted to go ahead and tell you because, down here in Louisiana, I got that Cajun last name. Looks like Richard, but pronounced Richard. Ron, well, listen, you're with my company, Real Broker, and but you're up in Clarksville, Tennessee, right?
Yes. Yep.
All right.
Yeah, we're in Middle Tennessee, about 45 minutes northwest of Nashville, and about 10 minutes from Fort Campbell Army Base.
Oh, from Fort Campbell?
Yeah. So we get a lot of military, PCSing all the time. So, they keep us busy.
So you do probably most of your business is military?
A lot of it is, yeah, about maybe 50%, 50, 60%, and, a lot of VA loans.
Ah, okay. So also when I was talking with you the other day, what's this 22 years as a DOD project manager?
I was a Department of Defense, contractor, and project manager at a black site, which is a classified site that at the time didn't exist.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was one of those sites in Virginia.
Did you like that?
Yeah, I did. I liked it. I was there 22 years. Met my wife there. It was a good job for me, good place for me,
well,
good time.
Sounds like you met the boss, the better half of you, right?
Yep, sure did.
That's right. I think the most thing that I found intriguing on your little resume here is you've trained several UFC fighters. How does that work? I mean, is that pretty cool, or what's involved in that?
Yeah, I've been doing a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA since '93 when first UFC happened. I was there for the first UFC watching, but that was in Colorado. But it's like I just started training with some friends because back at the time a blue belt, which was rare, it's like a blue belt it's the first colored belt, But there was
I don't know because I don't know anything about fighting.
Okay, well, blue's about the highest most people get before they quit.
Oh,
and it was rare to have a blue belt, and we happen to have two blue belts in our town. Oh. One was a Pat Trey. He's a Navy SEAL or was a Navy SEAL, and he was my main instructor for years and years, and he got me into it with a buddy of mine named Bill, and the two of us started fighting and training. And eventually, we both ended up opening up our own gyms. And, I've had 3 that I trained in the UFC, and our gyms had maybe 9 or 10 come through us that have been in the UFC, and we currently have one in the UFC, Nate Landwehr. He's doing really well, but he's not. I can't claim him as a student. He came in as I was quitting teaching.
Okay, but are you still the owner of the MMA gym, or you still own
I
the
still
gym?
own a couple of them, yes. But that one, the Clarksville one, I sold because the car dealership was landlocked by us, and he needed land, and he gave me more money for the property than I would have made in 20 years teaching. So I went ahead and sold it.
Wow. Now, I do know another thing that I found pretty interesting about you is you're a guitar collector, too. I seen those on your Facebook, guitar collector. You're a guitar player, too?
Yeah, I went to a GIT out in L.A. in the 80s. It was a Guitar Institute of Technology. It's where all these big rock stars went to train, learn, and it was great. I was 18, living out in Hollywood during the 80s when everybody had long hair and the clubs are going crazy out there. And they
did you have long hair?
Yeah, I did.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, it had it down to the middle of my back. It was 80s. It was great.
Well, I know you like a lot of hard rock. So just tell me, you said a lot of famous guitar players went through there. So who did you meet? You ever meet anybody?
My personal instructor was Paul Gilbert. He played in a band called Mr. Big, is what got him famous.
Mm-hmm.
Then he was, at the time though, he was in a band called Racer X, which was just a guitar oriented band, a bunch of shredders, him and another guy, Bruce. And it was just great to have a private lesson with him every week, sit in class and learn stuff that, was just way above anything you were doing,
Well, it sounds like you've had some fun growing up, as we say, right? From your black belt to your guitar shredder and now being up there around the military base in Clarksville, Tennessee. But you've been a realtor now for 7 years. And what has that been like, for you?
It's been, I hate to say it, but it's been really easy.
What? Oh, explain to me. Watch out now. There's a lot of people listening all over, and we don't always want to tell people, it's easy, because it's not always easy. That's why the name of the show is Dirt, Grit, and Stupid Shit. The dirt is the ground, and the grit is the crap the grinding we go through, and then the stupid shit could be anything. Look at you. You texted me. I know you're texting me some pictures. Oh, I see this. Look at that long hair with you. Look at that Camaro you was behind. I like that. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. That's cool shit. And then, then here's your UFC fighting. See, a lot of people follow this. I used to watch it. Oh, look at you training all them people. Wow. Wow. So you are known as what culture? I mean, I don't want to say Asian, because I know you've been called Asian before.
Yeah, my mom's Korean. My dad's Irish.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, why don't you tell me what it's been like when you said easy? Let's go back to a little bit of this real estate stuff. What is it that you just love about being a realtor now?
I basically work part-time. I have for years, I take it easy, but I still produce more than most of the people at my old office did, because instead of paying for Zillow leads and stuff like that, like everybody did, I just had a website that I designed, and the SEO was geared towards local keywords in subdivisions and stuff like that. And I get calls every day from people. It's just nonstop from finding me on the website, on the internet, while they're doing searches. And then I got to where I just got lazy, basically, and I was just referring people out there.
Well, I will say this: when you get to that easy part, sometimes agents get lazy. So I'm listening to you. So you got lazy, as in it was just coming to you, right?
Well, it's this year I did really well. I wouldn't say I did better than most agents at the office, but it was way off compared to my other numbers were.
Oh, okay. So,
but I also worked way less than I ever did.
Well, that's kind of like me. I've been in this business going on over 24 years, and I know we're into that high inflation recession time right now. Yeah.
The inflation and prices being so high, it slowed the market down. And right now with the holidays, I just haven't. And I knew I was switching companies out, that I was looking to switch companies. And I just recently switched a couple of weeks ago to Real.
Right.
And since I was going to switch, I quit looking for clients, quit, taking clients, and quit looking for listings. So, I cleared my books out and gotten all my closings out of the way.
Right.
So, I haven't done anything in 2 to 3 months.
Right. Well, that way you had a clear transition when you moved over.
Yeah.
You didn't have to worry about any of that.
I'm lucky too, because I don't depend on my real estate money. It's play money, extra. We have our rentals that we own, the gyms, and my wife's income. That covers more than covers everything. So everything we make from real estate is just extra. Well, to invest with and do stuff like that with.
Yeah. Well, so you got people. And we talk about this as agents among ourselves, and we always, you're always looking for different streams of income, right?
Mhm.
Some people call it a side gig, side kick. I do that sometimes with my karaoke DJ service that I have. I've got a couple gigs coming up that I can pick and choose, but that's the big thing, because you came over from Caldwell Banker, correct? Yeah.
Yes, I did.
And I was with them, I think, for about a year and a half. And to compare the model to where you're at today, and this is going to be interesting, me asking you this. Why did you pick Real?
There's a guy I know, Marty Human,
Mm-hmm.
who's been mentoring me on marketing and stuff for years.
Mm-hmm.
And he's working with Real out of Texas with Lisa Bates.
Right.
And since he's working with her, and he mentioned that he's working with Real and stuff, and I was looking to change. I was like, I started looking more into it and talked to Lisa about it. And the commission splits, the cap rate, all that stuff.
Okay, so we talking about commission,
Mm-hmm.
more money
and
in your pocket. Okay.
What's that?
More money more money in your pocket. That's the commission.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we never had any of that kind of stuff at Caldwell. So it was all new to me, and I figured, well, what the heck? Why not?
Right. And actually, that's going to be the next podcast that I'm doing next is I'm going to actually, because we're getting close to the end of the year, and I'm going to explain my company, Real Broker. And
Mm-hmm.
because there's 8 ways of income here at this office that agents don't understand they can build retirement on. And as an agent of over 20 years now, people just, unless you've got a rental home like you're talking about, or you're investing in the stock market, or you're buying a rental home or something, just trying to take on. And a lot of agents don't want to do that, right? They just figure they're going to make enough money in their commission, but then you got to know how to balance it all out. And that's why I like Real.
Own houses.
Do what?
I'm surprised at how many agents that don't even own their own property, their own home.
Right. Well, a lot of people can help, but sometimes they don't help themselves,
Yeah.
Sometimes people are good at explaining stuff, but then they're too scared to step off basically in rental property. We can use that, right?
Yep.
But, I mean, I'm glad you're here. So I've been with Real a little bit over 2 years now, 2.5 years. And I've been an agent for a long time, as I tell everybody. And you go through different brokerages, whether it's small boutique or franchise, and you learn these things. I think the biggest thing here at Real is, Ron, have we ever met?
No, not in person.
That's right. We've never met in person. But we're talking to each other over my podcast, correct? We picked the phone up last night. You were shopping in the mall, and we shot the shit, didn't we? We shot the shit.
Yeah.
And that is the collaboration that I'm talking about at this company. And people don't get that. They figure, there are let me put it this way. There are companies that are strictly, we can call them cloud-based. They don't require a brick and mortar building. You can work from home. You can do all that, but it's the collaboration that you need. Like, we're all on Zoom. We're all together on an app with Real. And it doesn't matter if that mega agent is in Canada, or that mega agent's over here in Texas, or they're over there in Florida. I can pick the phone up and call them. And that's what I was missing probably for the last 7-8 years of my business. And so the collaboration here is awesome, first off, because here we are talking, we're shooting shit on the podcast, right? And we're learning each other. I think it's interesting. I think it's cool that, first off, you trained a bunch of UFC trainers. I don't think I want to mess with you. But, and then to find out you like rock and roll, you're a guitar player and you love your guitar stuff. But why don't you tell me, over the last couple of real estate deals and closings you've done, anything weird happen? Anything crazy? Or what have you experienced?
I had being, half Asian, I look, you can tell I'm Asian by looking at it, because but I'm 6 foot tall, not the typical build of, what people think of.
Mm-hmm.
But I was showing a house to this couple, and when it came to my office, we were looking at a house that we're going to look at, narrowing it down on the large screen that we had. And the husband said, well, what's the racial makeup of that neighborhood? And I told him, I don't know. I'm not, I can't tell, I can't tell you and stuff like that,
Right.
And then we pull up the house. He goes, what are the neighbors? I go, I don't know. I haven't been there yet.
Right.
And then the next house, same thing. Then we went he picked out like 7 houses that he liked.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to look at the houses. And first when we drove in, as soon as we drove into the neighborhood, he saw some people of color. He goes, no, I don't want to be in this neighborhood.
Yeah, now look, that happens.
Yeah.
So let me stop you real quick, because you know what? I mean, Ron, do we both live? You live more in the Bible Belt, is that correct? The Bible Belt?
Yes, it is. Yes, I do.
Right, because I used to live in Memphis, Tennessee. Okay, then I moved right down to Olive Branch, Mississippi, right below the Tennessee line. And man, it's the Bible Belt up there. So we're in the South. I'm in the deep South. You still in the South. And people, I don't know why, they still want to see color.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Yeah. This guy, he didn't want that one. Every house we went to, he's like, oh, there's people of color here. These people of color here. And I finally told him, I go, dude, I can't work with you. You're going to have to find a new agent. And he got real upset about that. And I'm like, your wife is of color. I guess of color. I'm Asian, I'm like, so I had to fire him. And then, as a client, then a week and a half later, his wife calls me
mm-hmm.
and says that she never realized how big of a racist her husband was, and she's divorcing him. And she wanted to look for houses on her own for herself, a smaller house.
Yeah, but Ron, here's what you did. You just told me this, and this is where the public needs to understand the correct realtor holds the code of ethics up. Okay,
mm-hmm.
That's especially if we belong to NAR, National Association of Realtors, NAR, which you do and I do.
Yep.
In order to be a real broker here where we work, we have to pay our dues, and we have to honor that code of ethics. So basically, it don't matter if you're white, black, purple, gay, straight. It don't matter. You're to serve them equal. And you did that. And I don't think people really understand, and it's good that they're listening to this podcast and they just heard that Ron Daley fired somebody because you had a husband that could only see a color. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So, and that's what you're supposed to, you know what? Ron, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You could have got your ass in a crack. Let's just be honest. If something could have happened, but at least you recognize that. And then, I've had to fire, believe me, I've had to fire clients before. It's not fun.
It's not, but once you did it, do it. It's like, you feel better about it. You don't have to deal with them. You don't have to, all the negativity around it.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's the right thing to do.
Right. Because what I've learned in life, Ron, is bad news travels quicker than good news. Everybody's, a lot of people are going to forget what you do until they really, really need you. But then, when they hear something bad, they ain't never going to forget it. It's like, what the hell wrong with you people out there? I forgot what I did for you, 2 years ago. Okay, so I'm sorry I screwed up today, but you're going to remember today, but you're not going to remember 24 months ago. But Ron, so I'm glad you told, the people here on the podcast that you fire clients too, because I've done that also. Yeah.
Yeah. And his wife, she's a really nice lady,
mm-hmm.
and I can't believe according to her, she didn't realize he's so racist. But, I guess you get blocked and it's like, oh, he's a good person. He doesn't mean that, that kind of attitude, till somebody points it out. Then she starts more about it. And she ended up, after the divorce, it ended up being about a year or so before she was able to buy a house on her own.
Mm-hmm.
But, we stayed in touch and stuff, and we ended up finding a house for her and her kid. Then she ended up going to college to get her finish her degree that she never finished, and got herself a pretty decent job. So she's doing well.
Wow.
But I think it worked out for the best for her.
It did. And see, what you just told me, it took time, patience, and guess what you did? You stayed connected with her. So you gave her that positive lift, power to say, look, it's all going to be okay. I'm right here, Because here's the thing, Ron. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors. Some people, they don't see things. And sometimes it does take the third party or somebody being out and around a total different person to go, wow, I didn't see this in that person. Right, Ron? I didn't see this in that person. So, and that happened. So, but it all worked out for the better. That's for sure. Yeah. That's for sure. Well, look, I want to tell you something. I've got this local Mexican restaurant named Casa down here in Watson, Louisiana. I know you up there in Tennessee, but I love this Mexican restaurant. They're a sponsor of this podcast, and let me tell you something. On Tuesday, you know what we got down here, Ron, at Casa Maria?
Is it Taco Tuesday?
Oh, my God. How'd you know? It's $2 Taco Tuesday, and they've got $18 pitcher margaritas with that. But listen, Wednesday, like after you eat the $2 tacos, on Tuesday, you go over there on Wednesday and you get half-price margarita pitchers.
Really?
Oh, yeah. So, you might want to come on down, and we might want to go get us some food.
Yeah, I've been down there a couple of times, and down to Nolan, for some fight shows. It's really nice down there, but yeah, I should do that.
Yeah, you should definitely do that. We'll sit down. They got a nice outdoor patio. We can watch some. They got the UFC fights on, just so you know. It's just
that's great.
I want you to feel like you're not welcome, and we can just have any flavor margarita you want. What's your favorite margarita?
I don't know. I just always tried the standard. I haven't ventured out with margaritas.
Oh,
the regular margarita is so good anyway to begin with. So
I know, but just think if you did strawberry, mango, or peach, or sangria. I mean, look, they can mix it up. Casa Maria knows what they're doing down there on Highway 16 here in Watson. All right, so I'll have to get you to come when you come in town. I'll take you down there.
That sounds great.
All right, Ryan. Let me ask you something else. 7 years of being a real estate agent right now. I mean, I was glad to hear the code of ethics situation you just told us about, and firing. Anything other crazy stuff ever happened? Like, not necessarily like that, but anything else you can remember that maybe the public out here wants to know?
Another one, but similar kind of in a way. I had a client who was housebound, older guy. His sons and his one daughter came up to me and said, "Hey, we want you to list this land for him and all that stuff." The son had the power of attorney. So I listed the land. We got it sold. Then I never really talked to the father because it's all done online, paperwork. And mostly the son for the power of attorney. Then the closing, father was going to be there to sign. But the day before closing, he calls me up and says, "I don't have a right to the closing." Because he and his kids don't get along very well. So I went and picked him up and brought him to closing, signed everything, and at closing, he mentioned that the next day he had to have eye surgery done, and he's from about an hour from me, and the surgery was being done in Memphis, which is 3 hours from me.
So this is the seller, right?
The seller, the old guy. Yeah.
The old guy, the seller.
Yeah, and he said he didn't have a way to get his eye surgery because his friend that was going to take him just told him that he could, because he took a phone call just before we went into closing and told him that he couldn't take him tomorrow, the next day. So I was like, oh man, now I feel bad. So I was like, I'll do it. I don't have anything planned tomorrow. So I picked him up, drove him. When I got to his house to pick him up, he's a real country guy and living it was kind of like a shack almost.
Oh, wow.
Almost like Beverly Hillbillies' old house, before they became rich.
And close to you. He was close to you, right?
Yeah, it was an hour from me.
Okay, his property was an hour from you. Okay.
Yeah, I get there and I get out of my car, and this is the first time, the day before was the first time we've seen each other face to face. I start walking up to his house, and he has this big Confederate flag, rebel flag, on the patio. And he says to me, he goes, "What kind of Chinese are you?" And I'm like,
Wait. So you've never seen this seller?
Well, the day before I saw him, but we didn't really talk much. It's just all closing stuff,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So he asked me what kind of Chinese are you? I'm like, none. I'm Korean. He goes, well, you guys are all Orientals. I'm like,
Oh my God, he just threw y'all all in the same cereal bowl. Poof.
They're all Asians, but but there's just like there's different kinds of Caucasians, there's different kinds of Asians.
Right. That's right.
So it was just weird how he wasn't trying to be racist or mean. He just was. It's his age, and where he grew up.
Right. It's his. Yeah, that's right. It's his. What do you call it? It's his. Shit. What's the word I'm looking for? The older generation. It's his generation. There we go. And how he believes in and how he was raised. Because every generation is different, right? So that's just that generation where they just put them all together, and that's kind of what he did. So did you still take him to his eye surgery 3.5 hours away?
Yeah, I took him there, and I waited for him to get finished, which was another couple hours. Then I brought him home.
Well, that was just nice of you. And I think that's what it's all about. I think, when you go above and beyond for your client, even if your client calls you the wrong Asian, whatever they want to say, and you still follow through, that's really what it's all about, Just be the human, and it sounds like you're just being the right type of human being to your clients, and that's what you're supposed to do, Ron. That's definitely what you're supposed to do. Also, what was this? The member of Clarksville Human Relations Committee that you were on for 6 years. What does that consist of up there in Clarksville?
I'm still on it. Anything human relations related for the city, we vote on. We control the budget. Suggest things to the mayor, and I've been doing that for the past 6 years. I think I got another year left on it, so I roll off or continue doing it.
Well, good. So then you stay very involved in the county and what's going on in the city, close to the mayor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good. Then you know how to advise people when they're looking for lands and stuff like that, and property around you. So you stay pretty busy. What about with the military? You said the military base was close by. Is that stay pretty busy for you also?
Yeah. The military, like I said, it was only 10 minutes away from where I'm at. And but the Clarksville really has a divide. There's the Fort Campbell side, and then there's the Clarksville side, where all the locals live. But where the locals are, there's more and more military retirees and upper brass living here. Then on the Fort Campbell side, it seems to be mostly the enlisted that buy houses and rent houses.
So, like you said earlier, most of your stuff is VA loans. You're very familiar with that?
Yeah, we do a lot of VA loans.
Yeah. Not everybody, and that's another thing, not every agent and realtor understands about VA loans. If you don't deal with them, they're tough.
Yeah, some people don't like them, and but they're not that bad once you get into it and do it. There's a couple of extra steps you have to take, but they're minor. And they do, look for certain things. They're in the VA inspectors, but it's nothing major. You can get around all of it.
Right, but then they always want to make sure that the VA person's getting the right house and in the right condition of the home. So, excuse me, I think with the loan, the way they lay it out, where it's got to meet the loan, I think it's great for the veteran. And as long as the agent can understand how to follow through and make that happen, then I just believe that the VA loan looks out really well for the veteran. Do you believe that too?
Yeah, I do. I do, except for here recently when prices went up like crazy and it's zero money down. And people,
VA's always been no money down, but
Yeah, but in this case, they're putting out $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 or more out of pocket because they're bidding over. And then they didn't put any money down to begin with. So now there's no equity in the house.
I was fixing to say they're upside down, huh?
They are.
Yeah.
And I think that was really bad for them.
And see, that's the difference here. You're in Tennessee, and I'm in Louisiana. We never really saw, now here in Louisiana, there was, plenty of people looking at the news and hearing about it. Well, my friend over there in Tennessee got 50 grand, 100 grand more overpriced. Well, that wasn't here.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't. I mean, you might have been lucky to get. I had one that went 10 grand over, and that was it. I heard about a 20 grand over, and that was it. But I've never heard of 50 and 70 and 80 and 100 grand. So here, in Louisiana, that was good because people don't realize if you pay more when they reassess it, well, everybody in that subdivision, all their taxes are going to be affected.
Yeah.
You're going to affect everybody, and some people are not going to be able to afford their note. Over in Louisiana, also, we have an issue here right now with a bunch of insurance companies, so we don't even want to start with that because of these wonderful hurricanes and no-name storms that we have that seems to keep running insurance companies out of the state. And so I deal a lot with that right now with a lot of past clients trying to, make sure they got the right insurance company that's going to hang around and stay here even when, hurricanes are coming. And y'all don't deal with that. Do you deal with a lot of snow up there where you're at in Clarksville?
We don't have much snow at all.
Oh.
Maybe a bad storm every few years. That'd be a couple inches of snow. That's it for us. We'll get ice. Just not snow. We get a lot of tornadoes and sinkholes.
Sinkholes?
Yeah. Yeah, Tennessee.
What the hell? What do you mean sinkholes? Can you just explain that real briefly?
Tennessee, especially Middle Tennessee, is built on limestone.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of caves in limestone because it's porous. And then eventually they'll cave in and there'll be a sinkhole. Yeah, and it's like Bowling Green, Kentucky, which is only about an hour and a half away from here, where the Corvette Museum is. They had a sinkhole open up in the Corvette Museum, which is part of the Corvette factory that builds the Corvette.
Oh, wow.
And it's like a bunch of the cars. It just swallowed up the cars.
The cars just fell into the sinkholes?
Yep.
All the Corvettes. Yep. That's crazy.
Yeah. And then, in houses here, you'll see, where you can see where the divots are from the sinkholes and stuff like that. And you're like, but city, if you're in the city limits, the city takes care of, filling it in, taking care of it. They'll come back out occasionally, fill it in with stones and stuff like that.
So if you're out of the city limits, you're stuck? Is that what you're telling me? You stuck like Chuck?
I believe so.
Oh, that sucks. Stuck like Chuck, and that sucks. I'm telling you. That's horrible. I mean, we all deal with, every state's a little different, and I love listening to what, is different in your state versus here. Now, we're the only civil law state. You do know that, right?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you're common law. See, every state around us is common law. We're the only crazy ones. We're Napoleonic. We're French down here. So we got the civil law, which is a total different animal. So,
what?
Yeah, that'll be a different, I'll have to take that offline and explain that to you because that's a long story. And we kind of did that in the last podcast last week. Well, listen, let me ask something. Oh, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. So I got another sponsor that also helps out with the dirt, grit, and stupid shit. What you doing for New Year's Eve?
Not sure yet. We were looking for, like a nonprofit ball, some nonprofit throwing it, but we can't find anything.
Okay, well, look, down here, I got a place called Southern Rhythm Venue and Entertainment. It's a huge venue, and they have entertainment down there. It's very, very clean, and it's smoke-free. And they're going to, for New Year's Eve, they're going to have 2 bands and a balloon drop and much, much more. So it's going to be a good time down there. They've got security that's outside. It's a great venue. They do have a little patio out back for all the smokers that want to smoke. They can do it out back with portable heaters so you don't get cold. Now, it don't get as cold here as it probably does in Tennessee, but Southern Rhythm Venue and Entertainment's down here on Highway 16, right here in Dental Springs, down that way past Casa. So, but that's what I'll be doing New Year's Eve. I'll be going down there.
Yeah. What kind of music is it going to be? Do you know?
Oh, I'm going to send you their link is on my website and on every podcast right now. And let me tell you something. I'm going to send it to you because they had, like last time, we got all the local band people that play around here, okay, like Chase Tyler and other people. We have He has big bands come in. I mean, like he had a tribute to the Eagles, and they were and Journey. They came in and they sounded just like him. Boy, I'm telling you, that's some good stuff. He's got some good shit down there. Okay.
Yeah.
Big bands coming in.
I guess your music there, but the Zydeco, it's really cool.
Oh, Zydeco, that's our Cajun friends. And that's another thing that he's getting down there because he's only open on Friday and Saturday, and it's just great. It's a big parking lot, and like I said, it's a huge venue, and he brings in some really good live bands, and that's what I like about it. And there'll be some rock. We got local people that act like the 90 countries, and that's really cool to go see. But yeah, the Zydeco, Wayne Toops and Van Broussard and all that that's down here.
Yeah.
So you've heard that music before then, huh?
Yeah.
You like it?
I've got a friend that actually lives in Slidell, is it? Right outside of New Orleans.
That's called Slidell. Slidell.
Slidell. He plays in band. Chris Anderson and the Riggaroos or something like that. They play a lot out there, and they play some Zydeco stuff in their music.
I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna look that up. You can send that to me when we.
I will.
When we get off the podcast here. But listen up. So Ron, you know what? I want to thank you for coming on this podcast today with me. You are my first audio out of state guy. I'm glad you're here and wanted to do this with me. And I want to thank you for today and thank you coming on here. Okay.
Well, thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem, Ron. Have a good one.
You too.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.